You in there, man. Without further ado, back on the platform, man, for not one, not two, but the third time, man. We got David Brown in the building. What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
Peace, peace, peace. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
Man, I can't complain. Again, like I tell everybody, you could be anywhere, you could be doing anything. So the fact that you taking your time out to come on a platform and sit down, man, definitely appreciate it. Much gratitude, brother.
Oh man, listen. The honor is mine. People gonna say, "Well, how he keep getting on this thing, man? He ain't talking about nothing." No, listen, man. Uh, I have a lot of private conversations with people, and I'm here about a people's choice. Trust me. I would not be sitting in front of you unless I believe that people wanted to see me in front of y'all. So thank you, brother, for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Yes, sir. 100%, man. I know last time that you was on the platform, man, you got a lot of love, man. And the people was like, oh, that's my guy. You know, he dropped jewels. I put a few clips out and it resonated with the people. So anytime we get an opportunity to have you on for you to give your portion of wisdom or whatever it may be, we definitely want to do that. To jump straight in, the election has taken place and our new president, which is our president again for the second term, is Donald Trump. We've had a few conversations off camera, but for the sake of the camera and the sake of our listeners and people that's tuning in to the Forum magazine, what's your thoughts, man? What's your thoughts? What's your opinion? What's your feelings about everything that's taking place and entering into 2025?
Thoughts, opinions, big words, a lot of definition there. And concerning Trump, we living in two realities in America too. Where right off the top, one is black and one is white, whether we acknowledge it or not. And to my knowledge, now, I'm sure there's some very politically savvy people out there, but to my knowledge, I'm not aware of a black president yet, and I am including Barack Obama. And I'm not talking about ethnicity. I'm talking about how it has affected us, cause and effect. Every president, to my knowledge, even the ones who seem to mean well toward us, would talk real good and did not deliver on their promises toward us. So I think black people as a whole are not as connected to the political process as we seem to be, and it's more so something to do in the moment. You know what I mean? Because we have not been well affected by it. So Donald Trump to us seemed like just another one. Just another one. And the potential that he may do something that we associate to him, which was the stimulus, which was not his. I hate when it was not his. Congress signed that stimulus package. They actually tried to give us $2,000. He didn't want to give us that money. He dropped it down. He did. Dropped it down to $1,200. So you were supposed to have more money, but the guy who you associated with giving you the money actually took money from you.
And even with that though, right? With that in mind, there's a lot of black people that voted for Trump.
Yes, sir.
And we see kind of like a great divide of opinions where it's a lot of going back and forth of people that wanted Vice President Kamala Harris to be in office, and then even black people that wanted Trump to be in office. When you see that divide and you see that back and forth, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm a spiritual person, and I strain things through a spiritual net. So excuse me if the things that I strain through might not fit your appetite. But the people at one time, and we know in the past, had got so confused in their ability to judge, they chose Barabbas over Jesus. Now, I'm definitely not making that Trump comparisons to Kamala Harris, but I'm talking about our ability to choose. And I'm going to frame it like this, brother. Even in your comments for this interview, tell me something that Trump did as a policy that affected you in a positive way. that you directly benefited from. Because I could tell you something that um, directly benefited me in a negative way that Trump did. He came in and said he was going to eliminate Obamacare. And this allowed the common person to choose a network for planning their health care that got you in the same places with rich people. They couldn't deny you in Obamacare as long as it was the best plan for you. He was vocal about eliminating it. Well, we had to take my daughter, 12-year-old daughter, because she did not have health care to get her shots down to the Department of Health to get her shots because he eliminated Obamacare. Now I'm asking you, because that's a policy that worked negatively for us, right? I'm saying give me one that worked positively for us. And I'll wait for that in the comments, and then I'll address it in the comments. Because what I would challenge, as far as what you asked, that we don't really understand the political process, how policy and how paperwork hit words. And the challenge is going to be when the person comment, what's our local, just know I'm cherry picking for you. What's your local government function like? What do city council do? What they responsible for? Who voted for what? What about your local judges? What have they done with the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice? What do you know about your own city? So you'll know how it funneled down. If I ask the average black person, what are the 3 branches of government? Could you tell me? What are they responsible for? You say Kamala Harris has something to do with. So what is the power of the vice president? Very limited power. You would know if you knew anything about politics, you would know that. She was a prosecutor. What are they responsible for?
And you know what? Even with that, one of the biggest things that people held her responsible for was her activity and things that she did not do as vice president. So with you saying that position is limited, do you feel like that was an unfair maybe just assessment or responsibility that they was putting on her that made them want to vote for her or not? If that question makes sense.
It does. It's called ignorance. Either you know or you don't know. See how simple that is? But we like to use arrogance where knowledge go. So you like to level yourself up when you know you don't know. If you knew what the vice president's position held, you would not make that claim at all. And the people who do are from media, they know that they tricking you, and they know that the people they tricking are ignorant. Do that make sense?
It do.
Yeah. So that's the game that's being played. When people went and got that, let me bring this home. When you got that voter's card and you stood in front of it, past the Democratic Party and voting a straight ticket, when you had to see all of those names, did you know the people?
No.
Just keep it real. You did not. And them the people that's closer to you than Trump. So like I said in the beginning when you first asked me, it was just something for us to do. It's like picking the people on like who should win this game show or versus battle. It's something for us to do in the moment. Who gonna win, Tyson or this person? It's something for us to do in the moment. But we have never had a president to reiterate that we feel we was directly connected to that did something that we can champion. He did this for us. We never felt that from the presidency position. So we don't feel as connected to it. But it's going to affect us this time in a way that we should have took more thought into it. So the people, wherever you voted, you probably should have been more informed on a local level.
Since Donald Trump has been...
I apologize.
Go ahead.
I want to say something else too, bro. My vote was for God always. I needed to add that in. I started by saying I'm a spiritual person. My vote was for God. I am more in love with my people than they even know. And I know what our potential is. When I see how many black doctors we have, how many black lawyers, how many black politicians, if we just decided to function for us, them people are really the best people in them positions. I'm talking about throughout America, not just black America, period. If we had a Barack Obama really setting out how our economy should go as black people, and we decided to trust that, this brother work our whole situation out. We're the 11th richest nation on the planet, so we got the money. We just misusing our money. That's why everybody move near us and get rich.
When you think about a Kwame Kilpatrick, in that regard, what do you think, and what do you think our responsibility should be to a brother like that?
Man, that's my man. If you're a real Detroit person, like he come off the cuff of people like Coleman Young, man, who was really trying to set a precedent, in my opinion. I seen it. He really was trying to set a precedent for us that allow us to make the money where we wouldn't even qualify. And because we don't know anything about politics, we let outside media people tell us how to feel about our own brother. And we actually started getting mad. Somebody stole money. What money was coming that was yours? How much money do these people really steal? What about Art Blackwell? I'm going to name some names. What about Sharon McPhail? I'm going to name some names. But y'all targeting Kwame because they put the target on him. Do y'all know the same thing they got Bill Clinton for that he didn't do no jail time for is ultimately what they said Kwame did? Why are they targeting a small town Detroit mayor like that? Why we don't think deep, man? Why we don't think deep? This our brother, man. And if you look good into what I'm saying, you'll find out what I'm saying is true. You want to talk about something that got nothing to do with being the mayor. He rumored to have done this. What about you? What about you? We go peel on your back. He a Detroit person. He came from us. You know how hard it is to live in Detroit and achieve what he has achieved? You know one of the first things he told somebody, I hope Kwame see this. You know one of the first things he told somebody, man, when he became the mayor, I don't want to go to jail. What did he know? Right at the beginning, it made him say something like that out of his mouth.
What do you think he knew?
I don't know. I'm going to leave brother to tell his own story, but that's deep to me that he would even say that a man who has just achieved, imagine us coming from the position we in, and then we achieve something as great as being the Detroit mayor. And one of the first things we utter is, I don't want to go to jail. People be telling you stuff right in plain view, and we don't be picking up on it. But I'm gonna jump off Kwame. I just wanted to I wanted to put an emphasis on the fact that, yeah, man, politically, that brother was for us, and we don't know no better. We can't decide once again our friends from our enemies. We'll choose our enemy of our friend most of the time.
Yes, sir. In terms of the local level, right? And pivoting from Kwame, but just to kind of talk about
it's your interview.
Yeah. But it's still in the same vein though, right? Excuse me. Coleman Young and his ability to, I guess, galvanize the people or unify the people. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not too well educated in his run, but what was he able to do to help black people in the city of Detroit? And from your perspective in the now, what are the steps of action that we need to take in order to have power on a local level and put the power back into Detroit natives' hands?
Man, you asked some good questions, man. Somebody should pay you. You should get a check just for questions alone. So that's a really intelligent question, brother. I'm gonna try as best I can to match that, to gratify that with an answer that dignifies. Okay, so Coleman Young, in my opinion, was a person, his gift to me was being able to take something as complicated as politics and take the average Detroiter and make it relevant to him. He was able to make you feel included into the political process where we was allowed to attach ourselves to him. And we heard a language that sounded like our own coming out of his mouth. And we knew who he was. He made it plain to us whose side he was on. And he showed us what side. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, there's a part of Detroit history where the Ku Klux Klan said they was going to come downtown. And then our mayor got on TV and said, well, we ain't gonna send the police down there to protect you, so you can do it, but we ain't gonna protect you. I mean, that's not no dog whistle. This ain't Proud Boys stand up and stand by. This, you on your own out there in these Detroit streets. And brothers went down there. So yeah, Kwame, in my opinion, is attached to that in spirit, and the spirit of a person defined to have our own, for us to have our own. We live in to continue to answer your question, we living in a city that is more than 80% chocolate. We got a Greek town here. We had Hamtramck where, Polish people were, and now Arabs predominate, but we don't got nothing that's ours. And they was trying to put us in the mind frame of not just being a Detroit thug and having it be ours, but putting us in the mind frame of taking legitimate business in politics and making it ours. So to answer your question, I think the spirit of Coleman Young was to have something that was ours. And I think Kwame put us in a position that made things ours. And I think that if we take it to their spirit as Detroiters, as leaders, political leaders in Detroit, then we will stop waiting for somebody to do for us what we can get up and do for ourselves. We'll go and find out about politics. We'll start raising our babies to be more interested in politics. We'll groom our children to take those positions and seats and deal with the issues that we need.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to build stuff that's downtown, but we got potholes all in our street and crime and vacant buildings that we want to occupy, but we don't have the money. We don't know how to get the grants. So we need that to be more transparent. Plus, I want to add at the very end, I see them brothers out there with the guns at the liquor stores, making sure these women get in good. Our brother Marvin Cotton and brothers from
New Era.
Say it, brother.
New Era Detroit.
New Era Detroit, and what's his group on the Exonerees? Brothers is working, but they don't get publicity. I'm glad and thankful for the Forum magazine, I apologize, and platforms like this where they get a chance to get a spotlight. Those brothers that work, and then people, when you get inspired to do the work, you don't know who to attach yourself to. It's very hard to connect yourself to where your heart may be in the moment. So the more these brothers get the spotlight, the more people, strong men, to begin to attach, and women to begin to attach themselves to it, and we'll see Detroit grow in the way that we want. We all want safe and clean communities.
Yeah.
But the plan for how to do it, you know what I mean? These brothers are working. So if you don't have a plan and you want to get involved, attach yourself to one of these brothers that's already working, or one of these programs that's already working.
Even the
Trust
brother,
me, they need the help.
Yeah, even the brother to make sure that I plug this in because it's important, and I had the opportunity to go. Even with brothers like Student Minister Troy Muhammad, who's allowing young men, entrepreneurs, and business owners and stuff to go into the juvenile detention facility and speak to young troubled men. Like, it's really important, that type of work, and the fact that he's given that opportunity for brothers to do that is remarkable and heavy. I kind of want to pivot because when we dealing
Hold on before you go there.
Yes, sir.
Can I jump in there?
Yeah,
Say peace to the brother, Minister Troy. I like to just say that's the hardest working man in show business. Troy got his hands attached to anything. If you are trying to attach yourself to something and you're not exactly sure, go to Mosque number 1 and see Brother Troy, and he will get you. He's attached to everybody, so he will get you attached to the program that you desire to be in. But yeah, Troy, the hardest working man in Showtown.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In regards to politics, music, influence, leveraging influence to make change, how do you feel about artists like Kanye West, right? Supporting Trump to make that move to try to get people like Larry Hoover free? And then also, does Trump get credit for like Kwame's release? Because if I'm not mistaken, under his leadership, he was able to get Kwame free. So that's a 2-part question. If you could answer both of those.
Shit, Kwame hadn't even been locked up in the first place. Since we ended at Kwame, should he even been locked up in the first place? The answer is no. So Satan, helping Satan, you know what I'm saying, in that type of way to free a brother, that's like 12 years a slave, and then the person go get the brother from 12 years a slave as a hero. Fuck out of here.
Right. Right.
You ain't gonna run that small time stuff down on us. No, he should have never been locked up. And as far as Trump getting the credit, if you want to tag that on somebody, he does get the credit. He let a lot of people free that we didn't believe was going to be free, in my opinion, in the time they was going to be free. What does it mean? Is he a friend to you? Does that, equate to his friendship to you? So you got to answer that question kind of personal in your heart, where a person stands, because we still have an overall problem here in America. And if you ain't dealing with that, what was the release of Kwame all about? Was it his release designed to set him back in power so he can help us again? So what was the point? Like I go all the way to the nitty gritty. It still got to come back to you and I. Now, him or Kanye being wrapped up with Trump, you know how dangerous that is. You know, we was locked up, and we would see guys hanging out with a fag. And I'm gonna use because I ain't never seen nobody persecuted behind that word. I'm not about to let you play with me. You know what I mean? You can go after me. I prove what I'm saying. That's a cigarette in France. But we'll see a guy who was starting to hang out with them, and then to justify his hanging with them, we was doing business. And our question was always like, he's the only person that got the business. That's where you had to do business at, in where you knew it was going to be questionable.
But not to interrupt, but to interrupt only in context of the question, with the intent to free, since you in the business of freeing a brother like Larry Hoover, who we believe, and I would like to say, I believe firmly that that brother has reformed and is rehabilitated, has shown his work through books, and could single-handedly stop a lot of violence that's taking place in Chicago and all over, the United States with GDs and BDs, with Kanye linking with Donald Trump in hopes of getting that brother free. Do Kanye get a pass for that? Because he's been getting a lot of criticism.
I think what you asking, do the method by which he is going, kind of like erase what can be considered a foul in the situation.
Yes,
that's kind of what you get into, right?
Yeah.
Once again, if a brother is caught, he gonna use the business part of why he with the homosexual. That's gonna seem like it's legitimate. See, it's the business. It's other ways of doing. So, like, this is it. That's what I'm saying. That's it. That's the only you got to lay in the bed with the devil to any extent to get what you want. My point or my question is this: what you giving? We live in a world of giving. Come on, man. What you giving? When I start seeing these hard rappers from the 80s and 90s smiling a lot, I know you getting some. Just let me be quiet. But yeah, no. I think that he was more transparent, not in just what his goal was, but transparent in the process. When black folk go behind the door and talk to them and then come out with a deal, we always know it's something because the way they deal. You understand what I'm saying? Many treaties have been broke with Native Americans and black people and people who have patented things that didn't get their fair slice. We have watched many entertainers die making a contract with devil. So I'm saying, what's your you smarter than everybody else? You didn't fall prone? Huh? They got videos of people they say being violated to get these contracts behind these record executives, right? This is the highest person in the land. You making deals? Why you? Why not a person like Farrakhan, who we know got 60 years of service with no controversy? Why not somebody like him? Or Cornell? Or brothers that we take serious in the academic and scholastic world? Why are entertainers going and making deals? What we seen of you of integrity that we can hold tight, that your deal gon' stand. And we ain't gonna get screwed, or you ain't gonna get screwed on the back end. No, you don't lay in the bed with the devil and make no deals. So if you asking me that question, I don't care what the end means is. Go the right way. Do it right, brother.
You said, and that does make sense, because if I know the nature of politics, right, and I know that essentially me as an entertainer, nine times out of 10 may not have the structure in place to protect myself, protect my people, then it will only be right for me as an entertainer or public figure to go and get somebody that is proficient, efficient, and supreme at what they do, and I'll escort you to that person, and we can start working out something.
Ice Cube in the pack that he had that he took to Donald Trump, He made it clear to us. He showed us the bones and the skeletons of it. He said, I don't care which president we're in. It's not a matter. We already got a packet. We're taking a plan to you. You're not giving us something. We're giving you a plan. This is what if you want our vote. This is what we want. That's transparency. We know that it ain't no games being played. But how do we know what they doing with that brother? That could be a political ploy to get people who would have never voted for Trump or sided for something that he going to do on our side to make them believe that he our friend. Brother, they trickier than us. We use honesty as the base of our dealings with each other when we shake hands. The reason shake hand even came into the play is because you had to watch their hands. That's why that even is a tradition. We don't know nothing, bro. We growing into knowledge, but we got to stop acting like we know stuff we don't know because it's exposing us in this time. We in a time, bro, where it's so dangerous to be black in America and not have knowledge where you don't even know that you should be storing food in this hour. We're in a transitional period where everybody's emotions is high about this.
Oh, I'm glad you said that because we just made the post that the law is coming down in 2025 that they are going to allow us legally in Detroit to grow. To have a certain amount of chickens, yes, ducks, and etc. Farm life. I looked at that as a sign. Mm-hmm. When you saw that, did you look at that as a sign? And what would you tell the people and just seeing what's coming down the pipeline?
I'm 50 years old. Thank God. A lot of my peers they got strained through that net. But when I grew up, in my little time of seeing, I seen my grandmother and her friends have gardens in their backyard. It's not a new revolution. And we were healthier because of it. They didn't have to go to the market. We didn't worry about pesticides or GMOs because it was grown right in your backyard. As a matter of fact, the WIC programs and things like that used to actually give you seeds. People used to throw them away, but some of the smart of us used to use them. So we in a time now where not just because of the high food prices and the fact that they have destroyed processing plants, and you seen how we acted when they wouldn't let the boats, the processing boats on the bay so we can go and consume some more. It actually puts us in the way of being healthier because we are growing our own food, watching our own, they say chicken can be nasty too, but if you feed him correctly, then you can eat him and you can remain healthy. So now with people who are suffering from number one in diabetes, number one in kidney failure, number one in heart disease and things of that nature, I think it's time to take more control of what we're eating. And the fact that Detroit is becoming proactive in the way of giving us the heads up, I think we should take full advantage of not only taking care of, once again, our health, but controlling our finances through growing our own food. We save a lot of money if we grow the food just like our grandparents used to do.
Mm-hmm. Crucial point. In closing, to sum up what you would, I guess I would say, as a collective, what do you feel that as a community, as a people, what do we need to do? Even though I maybe asked that question, but this is just more from a collective sense. What do we need to do if you were the mayor?
Oh boy.
If you were, what they say, if you were governor, what would be the courses of action that you would give in closing? Like I always say, man, your perspective is unique. So I just feel like what you say, it could stick to the hearts of some of the people. So I'm just curious to know, what would it be?
Man, you mean specifically or generally? Because there's so much, so many places to cover.
That is a lot
within that.
I would say general. I would say generally.
Now I'm prioritizing in my mind, so just that's what that pause is. But
and with the sisters specifically,
oh boy,
because I heard somebody specifically talking about the future of all of this stems from the protection, the maintenance, the security of the woman and what she produces.
I was talking to a wise woman yesterday, and I was expressing on to her that when you look at us in a biological way, the man has an X and a Y chromosome, and a woman has two X chromosomes. What I read in and can see in that is our ability to incline in her direction and her natural ability not to really have to in our, so we feel obligated with that part of us genetically to have to maintain her, and we should. I think that we should.
That's heavy. If I'm not mistaken,
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure because I ain't never heard this before.
Yes, sir.
The man has an X and a Y chromosome, masculine, feminine.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
The woman has two
X chromosomes.
X chromosomes.
That's a fact.
That makes the man be able to incline,
to
subside to hear her differently, but makes it difficult for her to hear him
us
differently.
In the same capacity. And it explains why so much turbulence in the air between us right now. Because we like to put the onus on leadership to a manhood, but we don't want to incline first. We don't want to say I'm sorry first. We don't want to have to do that type of work to make the sister feel open enough to unfold unto us. And she telling us, I can't unfold. The position you keep leaving me in is not allowing me to unfold, to be what you need me to be. So if we want something out of her, it's not, we making it, we dirty in the water with our language too, the way we talk to each other. But if we really want that out of her, Paul, time out. What do she bring to the table? Let me help everybody. Women care, and they are naturally inclined to care in a way men will never care. All right? And she's saying to facilitate that care, you have to take care of her in a way that allow her to care for you. But she's not even going to even want to be inspired to do that the way you mishandling her. See, my wife is unfolding that type of, and because I got an X chromosome is what I'm saying, I can incline in her direction. And the responsibility then becomes on me to incline in her direction. So I got to be more patient. I have to be more inclined in my ear. My heart have to change. And in turn, it's stretching me out. So that's the exchange, just like the way we breathe from trees and they give us back oxygen, same way. But if we not in tune as men, if I can't talk to men like this and I can't get us in line, we're going to always have this turbulence and we can't get what we want from our women. So our lack of ability, knowledge, and the way that we treat our women is really taken away from our health, our strength, our length in life, our finances.
Yeah.
Man,
That's saying a lot. I'm gonna be honest with you. You received a lot of backlash from the last time you was on a platform and we were talking about women. You were really straightforward and direct with reason.
Yes, sir.
And if understood, in which I advise people to go back and watch that interview, if understood, you would perfectly understand where you were coming from. And I agree with what you said if you listen to the whole interview and not just the clips, right? Message to kind of flip this the other way around.
Yes, sir.
Because there is some responsibility that must be had on black men. And I don't think that you were negating or trying to remove that responsibility.
Yeah.
However, that wasn't the question. Therefore, we couldn't focus on it.
Yes, sir.
So in efforts to, I guess, give men assignment right? What would be the assignment for men, specifically black men, to mend and heal the relationships that we all are in, whether it's your girlfriend, whether it's someone you dating, or whatever the case may be? What is the assignment for man, and then give the assignment for woman, and then we can just land on that.
Okay. What is the responsibility of a man and a woman? And then your assignment is right in the responsibility. Is your responsibility to take care of women? Is that the responsibility, or is that one of the responsibilities you have? See, your goal is to produce the thing you're providing. And if a man is not producing anything, you have no authority with your woman. So putting your foot down, raising your voice, it means nothing to her. You just somebody getting loud and rowdy in her opinion, but you don't have what it takes. So our job is to produce. Now, you can produce by yourself and you can get far. But once you realize that is what you should be doing, producing the business, the activity of life, business, then you will get with like-minded people like you so you can accelerate and have something for your family to have. See, these things, once we understand our responsibility, the other things kind of line up on their own. You know what I'm saying? When the woman is giving her responsibility from what the man is producing, then she gonna take charge and magnify that. Women magnify, good or bad. If you messed up, the woman will take that and she'll exasperate that. And if you do something good, she'll take it and flip it over. Don't try to put dirty the sisters up. And I'm not backpedaling away from what I was saying. I was being specific. We live in a land of immaturity. When it's your turn to get flowers, oh, yes. But when it's your turn to be scolded, you don't want the scolding. So we living in that immaturity. What I was speaking from was that vein of maturity. I understand on the flip side of where sisters coming from. That don't mean because a person is being critical from you, they don't understand who you are and your value too. But how are we going to line up with our lens? How can we correct each other when we're in the courtroom of self? When you the prosecutor, the judge, and the defense attorney, you never gonna be found guilty. So somebody who care for you, got a heart for you, but a good eye to see where you off your balance, gotta come in with love and tell you. But if you don't see love, you only see stern correction. You don't want to accept that because who is you? I'm your brother. That's who I am. You looking right at me. I look just like your cousin, your uncle. Quit playing with me. And I should have authority, but we got to change our language once again. It's hard for a man who going through depression to get up when the woman is criticizing him in the house in a way that don't correct and lift up, but it tear you down even more. You wonder why so much black on black violence now from domestic? This is why. Now you got it in your sister to talk good because when you go to work, you talk good. When you in the public, y'all sweet and kind. But go home and try it one time with that man and see if it just lift him up a little bit and see what that'll do if you keep on lifting him up. Just see. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that in respect to that, not to go away from what I was originally saying. It's that immaturity that made people criticize. I could take your criticism because I know where it's coming from. You know what I mean? I could take your criticism. I know where it's coming from. But on this side, this is what sisters really need from us. So now I'm talking to brothers. Start producing. What do I produce? Get off your ass and go get a job. What job? Something. Your children counting on you. She counting on you. Most brothers got a baby somewhere. They counting on you. They can't take an excuse over a paycheck. You got to get up. And from that producing, from that dividend that you inquire, now you can use intelligence with that dollar that you have, and you can pool your resource with other like-minded individuals, and y'all can pursue your dream. Be productive. So the word ain't productive. I wasn't saying it to generalize some big word that you can't grasp. It starts with you getting a job and getting off your backside and washing your butt more than 3 times a week. Just general stuff. That's what I would say to the men and the women. I would say have patience with the brothers. We not a man yet, but we growing and we trying. Damn, give us a little credit. I see black men hold their babies everywhere, but I don't never see no black sisters celebrating that. They far in between. Talk about these black men trying to go get their children. No, he ain't got it all together. He might not have all the bucks yet and all the, but he trying to see his kids. He might be, catching the bus, but he trying. Damn, we coming from shit. You know, we expect us to be a big man today. We got to grow into that. So, sisters, be patient with us. Don't be so quick on your fuse to give us all you got. That's all I'm saying. Let us grow in that space for a few years, you know, and acknowledge the little things we do. We trying. It ain't, I know we need more quicker. Sisters ain't wrong. We need more quicker, but we are trying. So give us that little bit of credit, and it may motivate your black man to do a little bit more.
And that's what it is, man, because that is fuel. And as long as you got fuel, you'll be able to go the distance.
Oh, praise.
So, man, definitely, man, appreciate you. Any shout outs? What's your Instagram handle so people can follow you on social media in general? It could be Facebook, Instagram, whatever.
You have to do that, brother, when you post.
Okay, yeah, I'll make sure I put it right there.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I put it right there at the bottom, man. Put it in the description as well. Make sure y'all like, share, comment, man. Until next time, man. David Brown, the Foreign Magazine, Pulse of the Culture. Let's get it.